Hello, everyone. Welcome to a run I've been excited about ever since it was submitted. Sin and Punishment, one of my favorite games of all time. Not just one of my favorite shmup adjacent games, one of my favorite games. And the player today is Ben SPR, who will also be on commentary. He'd be playing and talking at the same time, which is pretty impressive.
I know. We'll see how long that goes.
Yeah, as it gets harder, you get quieter.
Yeah. So it's my understanding we're starting from 2-1, is that right?
Yep.
For the sake of time?
Yep.
All right.
Are these the rebels?
Well, let's hit it then.
Alrighty. And not only will
gonna
Ben be
load a
going
save
for
state
survival, he'll be going for score as well. Which is really cool because this game is, it's not very widely scored.
Yeah, I know the scene has pretty much been dead for a good long while. The only information I could find was on a forum from 2003. And actually the highest scoring run we have on video is from a player named Strangest DSS, and that was done on VHS back in 2004, I think.
Wow, VHS Super Play. There's nothing better though. There's something so cozy and nostalgic about VHS Super Plays, other than you can't see what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So that's basically all I've had to go off of. We do know, I think there's evidence of a 94 million, so I think that's the Western world record. Oops. The later loops.
Yeah, and I thought I should also explain that just how the controls work in this game a little bit for people. So this game was created for the Nintendo 64 by one of the greatest developers, Treasure. And the way it works is... Yes, and the way it works is they were all about the N64 controller when designing this game control-wise, because you aim with the analog stick, but you move with the shoulder buttons, I believe. It's been a while since I've actually played it on a legit N64 controller.
Yeah.
It's the shoulder buttons, right?
I'm moving with the D-pad, so...
Or the D-pad. You can do both. Yeah.
Yes, I was planning on playing this on original hardware, but the thing about the N64 controller, as I'm sure you know, it's plastic.
Yep.
Right? The stick is plastic. So instead of having my fingers slip sliding all over the place, I thought I'd just stick with the DualShock.
Very wise. I do the same. Here's a fun fact about the N64 controller a lot of people don't know, too, is a lot of people will say, oh, N64 controller is one of the first analog sticks, but... if you open it up and look inside, it is actually optical. It is not the same thing as like a DualShock. It's an optical reader. So it's like kind of digital, even though it's credited as an analog stick. It's pretty cool.
And no drift too. Very nice.
Yes, yes. Oh, this section here. What difficulty mode are we playing on today?
This is normal. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that.
Yes,
normal seems to be the standard for score play, at least for
Is
right
it
now.
really? Have you ever heard of like the turbo super hard mode or whatever it is?
I have heard. And you know what's funny about that is we were talking about, cutting the runs down so that we wouldn't have like hour-long runs back to back and stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking about playing on turbo hard.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Shorten the game, so maybe we'll save that for another day, but...
Yes. I'll play Turbo Hard mode too, and we'll do a duel to the death. Turbo Hard mode. It is actually, for the people who haven't played the game before, Turbo Hard mode is really freaking hard. It is really hard. Yes. I've never cleared it, personally. Can you explain the scoring strat here? Yeah.
Yeah. So... pretty much where you're going to get most of your points in this game are from hits and medals. So it's got sort of like a Garega style medal chain where you've got to collect these medals and the value increases until you get to 50,000. And so...
your movement here is really clean. This is some sharp movement.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, hell yeah.
These patterns right here are pretty strict if you want to get every single medal. So.
Yeah, and the fact in this game,
getting a
it's
little-
crazy. This game is ahead of its time because it has like a triple jump. You know, before triple jumps were cool, Sin and
I know.
Punishment had triple jumps.
If I walk off the edge, I can get 2 more jumps for free.
Yeah, it's
So-
so cool. Nicely done. That
So
that boss
there you
is
wanna,
gonna own.
You want to keep the boss alive as long as possible.
Yeah, because it'll time out, right? If you don't kill it in time, it'll time out,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you want to wait as long as possible so that when you do, so that you get all the medals, because the background loops after a little while.
Yep.
But yeah, the timer is always ticking down in this game. So what we're gonna do right here is, this is just basically a quick time event, but oops,
Mash.
when he starts jumping like this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this opportunity to vandalize his property right here for some extra hits.
Oh, some scoring strats. It's sick. I didn't know you could do that. This is
So
some
it's
GoldenEye
not-
strategy. Shoot the, blow up the TVs.
Yeah. So not a ton of extra points, but might as well. It's not much risk.
Does time play a factor in your score?
Time does play a factor, but mainly with the end of stage bonuses. So one of these, I believe it's the middle one, I think is time. So, and this really comes into play on stage 1, 2, because you've got to kill one of the bosses. You've got to reset the clock right before you kill her to get that bonus. So
As a score player,
Yeah,
how do you
no-
feel about this stage?
this stage is hard. It is very hard to optimize. Like,
Yeah.
look at all these tiny guys. There's so much to shoot. And we're actually going to come back around most of these ships later in the level. So anything I don't shoot now, I'll have one more chance. But I'm going to try and still hit as much stuff as I can. And you see we're reflecting these missiles. And that's a huge
Yep,
part of the
big
stage.
time. And
Got away.
the one thing about reflecting stuff is there's kind of this technique that I do. I want to see if you do the same thing. I call it like an option select or pumping, where you kind of leave a tiny
Yeah,
bit of gap in between your shooting, where it's not so big that it really ruins your damage output, but it's just big enough to let you kind of buffer in a reflect. Do you do the same thing?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So important.
Yeah. Oh no.
Woo.
Best.
So we've been hit for the first time. The way it works, okay, I keep jumping into this. Yeah, those turrets are very annoying. But the penalty for getting hit, because you can see we have this big health bar. So
Yeah.
no one-hit kills or anything. The penalty for death, for getting hit, is you lose your metal chain.
Yeah.
And that's huge because if I get hit at a full chain, I mean, you can do the math. That's about 500,000
Yep.
points you're gonna lose. So this game is still pretty punishing, even though my chances of dying are pretty low.
It starts to get dicey in some of the later sections, I'm sure. Survival-wise. Question. Do the chains carry to the very end of the stage?
Yes, they actually carry between stages as well. So
Oh, Gwange
no getting hit
style.
at all. Yep.
Jeez, that's so cool though. I could see that really opening up score play a lot. Because
Yes, that's what attracted me to this game. Is just the fact that there's like a game-long chain that you have to, you know.
yes.
It is like Gwange.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's interesting too, because the optimal, like, you could have an optimal run which is a no-hit run. Not even a no-death run, no-hit
Exactly.
run, because you keep your chain all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
then
and
I
then on top of that, you've got to make sure you get as many hits as possible, which means you're gonna have to do some tricky boss milks and things like that. Try and get maximum score. So
And one thing, now, I haven't optimized score play in this game, but I've played it a lot. And one thing I kind of suspect is that it is actually not possible to hit everything on screen in this game, that you have to kind of play that game of just managing to get as many hits as you can. Is
Yes,
that true?
you're
Or
absolutely right.
if you're an amazing genius, can you hit everything? I assume you just can't.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm assuming you just can't. Obviously, a lot of it is me. Oh no. So this boss, we need to make sure we kill her.
A bastard.
So we get the because every time you kill a boss, the timer resets. So,
yes.
but because I was in the air.
Key. This boss on hard and turbo is a nightmare.
Yes, it is. But we should get time from the turret I just destroyed, so that won't be too big
There's
of an
time
issue.
bonus. There you go. So when do you personally tend to use the lock on blue reticle?
Yeah, well, when I started routing out this game, I didn't really use it all that much, but I discovered that if you switch if you alternate between the shots, situationally, I guess, you can, it's extra technical, but you can sort of clean up your aiming a little bit. So I've tried to integrate that a little bit more, but mainly...
Oh, like you use it as like an aim assist? Like an aim assist type of thing? Oh, that's really clever. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Because for those not familiar with the game, the blue will like auto lock onto things, kind of like Z targeting in Zelda, but it really reduces your damage. So it's kind of like, you know, okay, you should just manually aim, but to use it as like a aim assist, that's really clever.
Yeah, so you don't want to rely on it too much, and it doesn't move any faster than the normal reticle. But so theoretically, you can, if you're really that good, you won't need the lock on. But it's so handy.
Now we're gonna get some bullet hell micro dodging. Maybe. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need to. That's always how I did this pattern, and then I kind of realized I didn't need to do that. Stand in the middle.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite.
Yes. Ooh, good slices.
One of my favorite bosses for that reason. It just looks so cool.
Oh man, I couldn't figure out to stand in the middle forever, so I just got nailed by it over and over. And then I try to like roll out of it. All you have to do is stand in the middle.
So this section right after the boss is it's one of those sections where we see just how hard it is to optimize this. If I wanted to get all those soldiers, like these three guys right here, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I got him. That's
got
very
him. Nice
right
shot.
There. So
isn't it cool too that this game has built-in auto fire? Like Treasure were way ahead of the times with that stuff.
Yes.
Imagine
This
pounding
is my
that.
least favorite part right here.
I love this part. This is one of my favorites because it's like bullet hell mode.
Yeah.
We should explain to the people that jumps don't give you iframes, right?
They do not. No.
Nope.
Only rolling.
Yeah, only
and
roll
the
gives
funny
you iframes.
thing about that is, double tapping in a direction. In order to roll, you have to double tap.
Yep.
Which is hard for a lot of reasons. It means you can't. You have to, move slightly in that direction before you roll. So no panic rolling, and also, you can't. You have to be very careful with your micro dodging as well. Like you can't just tap dodge.
For me, the worst part of it is when you accidentally roll, because you're just trying to do a quick little shift, and then you roll. You're like, oh god.
That
Amazing
is rough,
shots
especially at the very end, which we'll get to when you're in the giant monster form and you have this massive dodge.
Yeah, don't you love, this is a little nitty-gritty detail, but don't you love like the cross on the aimer? Because it really helps you with tracking. Like what I'm talking about, those thin lines outside the reticle that like really help you with tracking and aiming. That was such a clever addition. Yeah,
most of the time I'm looking at those, especially in this stage, because there's a lot of tiny targets that I have to hit.
I almost feel like shmups should start to do that a little bit, or like put that in a shmup where your ship has those, so you can like see your ship anywhere on screen. I thought that'd be a good idea.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. So I'm gonna go
on
ahead
a
and kill the
scale
boss
of
here.
1 to 10, how much do you feel this game is inspired by Evangelion?
That's a good question.
I would give it a high rating, like 9.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes.
I said in one of my videos, this is, if you want a good Evangelion game, it exists. It's called Sin and Punishment.
So
Take out
now we
the
get to the
jets.
final
Yes.
fight with Brad. And we've got to make sure to take out at least 2 of the jets, I think. Oops, to stop him from doing an attack that's a lot more difficult to dodge.
Yes, yeah. Here it comes.
So when he runs at you, or when he flies at you, you can actually jump and slash him and get some more damage here.
One thing I also want to point out to the chat is Ben's air control is really, really good, because this game is a game of, like, can you walk, pat your stomach, and rub your head at the same time? Because, like, moving, aiming, and jumping all at once is a lot of, like, independent variables happening at once. So it's a little bit different than even, like, playing a modern action game like Devil May Cry or something. There's more manual movements having to happen. So, yeah, he's making it look easy.
I've got a digital input in one hand and an analog input in another hand.
Yes.
Or, yeah. I actually looked to see if there were any controllers that had a D-pad on both sides. Because I think having a digital input for the aiming would make things super clean. But never could find anything.
You know what? You almost want to, like, have 2 arcade sticks, but then you don't have enough fingers for the buttons. If you had more fingers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have to get, like, you know those foot pedals they use for, like, a for like a light gun? You know, get, like, a foot pedal.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a drummer.
Although that would look a little weird in the next stage when I'm gonna have to be slashing a lot.
See, this pattern here is a really good example of what I'm talking about. Dealing with this, control-wise, is way more complicated than it looks. It looks simple, but it's not. He's got to jump, aim, and shoot all different things at different times. And drift, air drift, too. You got to control yourself and the reticle independently of one another.
Yes. When you are slashing, by the way, you can't jump, so you have to be really economic with how you slash in midair. Because you're not getting that jump back until the slash is over. So you could get stuck on the ground.
Yes.
And that's a big problem with that section, especially with all the missiles coming at you.
Yeah, air slashes are really good. Great. Very nice routing on these trackers. Isn't this just a fun, amazing game that it's, like, sad how there aren't other games like it other than Sin and Punishment 2? Like, there's
even Sin and Punishment 2.
It's
Sin and Punishment 2 is like a 3-hour game, so it's not quite the same.
And you fly, whereas this one you jump and you're on the ground. So even that game is quite different.
This part right here. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matrix, man. Oh, nice dodges.
That part there's some slight randomness to it, so you have to react to the third to last gate. And also, if you mess up that slash at the end, you don't get this. You get no end of stage bonus if you don't slash the ship at the end. So it's super important.
So this boss here is gonna
just damage boost.
Yeah, this boss here is gonna be the bane of most new players because it's called how well can you aim? Because basically he has to track this kind of funky moving shield thing, and if he doesn't do enough damage on it, he dies. So
yes, game over right there.
He nailed it though. He's good at aiming.
Another interesting thing is that's the part where you'll also find out that the homing shot, the lock-on shot, sorry, that can't help you with everything.
Yep. Because it doesn't do enough damage, yeah.
Try to use the homing shot for that. Exactly. Your DPS won't be high enough for you to survive that part, so...
Very troll, Treasure. Very troll.
So, here's some... Yeah. Here's some good old-fashioned shmup tap dodging.
Yep.
Just try to get out of the way of this boss right here.
And sword buffering, that's what I call it. Sword buffering, where you kind of are putting those little gaps in your shots so that if a sword needs to come out, it'll come out.
Oops.
So what do you think about this stage? I've always had divided feelings on how I feel about the train.
These wolves are a little bit, they stress me out a lot because run to run, they feel like they react a little bit differently. So this room with the green fireflies, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just a lot of slashing and stuff.
Yep.
But I really like this train stage because of the fact that every car is just so different.
Yep.
And you'll see this is actually the highest scoring stage in the run.
Do they milk the boss? Is that why?
Yes, there will be a boss milk. And also the next car, I believe, the turtle car. Oh no,
Oh boy. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll talk about that when we get there, but those turtles are worth a lot of points. So, try to get as many of these.
Nice
This
slashes.
boss is a little weird.
Yep. This is another one where, like, you got to be really good at controlling your movement and your aiming.
Yeah, the name of the game is basically just don't move because those all
They like bend
Let's
in
track
this
you.
crazy way, yeah.
yes.
Nicely done.
Right, so here we go, the turtle car. So watch my score right now. We're at 29 million. Is that right? Yeah,
29 something.
I think it's right.
Nice. Yep. Slash, slash, slash.
And I'm gonna try and get as many of these as I can because they're worth a lot of points. But the same boss that we've already fought twice is gonna show up again, and we've got to kill him because that way we get it refills the timer.
Yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
need that
You
time
might
for-
time out for the last boss. That last boss, yeah, it's the timer. Timer
So
scan.
I'm gonna go ahead and try and make him. When you shoot him, he'll go into this blocking state. So you want to time the
Yes.
blocks so that you can slash the turtles.
You know what? I never thought of that because I always, I'm mostly play for survival, so I make them block and then I just walk around the turtles. But yeah, they probably put that in there so you can
There we
slash
go.
the turtles.
Yes. And I just noticed earlier today that you can actually, depending on when you make him block, he will actually stay longer than he's supposed to, which is super important.
This poor girl's face is truly terrifying.
Yeah, if you've ever looked at the Ikaruga concept art, you'll see same guy, Hiroshi Iyuchi, I believe, did all the character designs.
Yeah, you can definitely see it.
So each one of these benches has a medal for us. And then here we go into
Yep, nice.
another boss fight. Ooh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my double jump as sort of an option select. So, because sometimes he'll wait and
Right.
he'll fake out when he's
Yeah.
going to stomp. Alright, so there he goes. I'm just going to make sure I get these real quick before we gotta go. Oops.
Oh,
Okay,
Oh!
so
little snuck around you.
just barely missed it. Yep. So this
Alright,
is the
this boss.
This is the birth model. So this is one of the most lucrative milks in the game.
Yes.
The way it works is breaking these pods. Well, the pods fall from the ceiling, but shooting the one that has, or destroying the one that's, got that purple thing on it, is going to cause
Nice roll.
them all to break like it's, like a puzzle game or something.
Yeah, and you need to reflect something at that, which
Yes.
when you're first playing is trickier than it sounds.
Yes. So, but the thing is, ooh, uh-oh. So what we need to do also is
Oh.
there's this claw that shows up every so often, and it's very tricky because it will create a wall that you have to
Yes.
roll through. So the goal is to destroy that claw immediately
Yes.
whenever it shows up. So, and of course we're gonna let the pods kind of refill so that we can get more hits.
Nice.
But
Yeah,
I've
and the
gotta
claw.
watch the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great work. Yeah, you can catch it as it's coming out if you're really quick.
Yes. So I'm seeing the clock is ticking down now. I'm gonna go ahead and start. There we go. Now we've gone to phase 2, and this is a really unique thing. So he's swinging back and forth. We're gonna wait till right about here and send him flying, and he takes damage every time he bounces around the room.
Yep.
So,
And you can shoot him when he's on the ground.
Yes. Oops. So you can use this to kill him really quickly, but you have to get the timing down.
Yeah, and just a little info for the chat. If you are unfortunate enough to run out of time, I believe your health starts to drain.
Yes, and your metal chain will drop, so don't want that.
Nice, nice. 5 seconds left.
Yep. Alright, so now we're changing characters again.
Uh-huh. I like this character better.
And yeah. And now we're on 3-1.
I love the
so-
way this character stands. It's like the
I know. he's
power
got
stance. Or like, I don't know, cool, very cool pose. Oh, the sand pits. There's gonna be some memo in this stage, that's for sure.
Yep. There's a part right after the boss here that's basically just straight up memo.
Do you do any milking on this crab thing?
Not well, I guess you technically, but the tentacles disappear after about 2 times that I
Oh,
break them.
they just
They
won't come
drop
back.
Yeah. So it's not a full-on milk like the last
Right.
boss, but these mouths will give me a break. Okay, there we go. That's good. So I'm gonna try and no miss this section, but it is
Yeah, this is tricky.
tricky.
Freaking gators. Nice roll.
You gotta kill this guy, and boom.
Roll. Yes. Nicely done.
Yes, so the chain is intact for now, which
Yes.
is really important because we're coming up to my favorite boss, which is the spider seamer.
Oh,
you get a ton of
God,
medals from
that
this guy.
boss. Yeah.
I know.
I'm
So
curious
this-
if you'll do the same thing that I do on this guy. Let's watch.
So
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
I remember I did all this dodging, then I realized, oh, you can just jump.
yep. And it's hard. You have to not psych yourself out either because it's so obvious exactly when you need to jump. But this is the
This-
part when the game starts to get in your head.
Nice. That metal collect looks simple. It's actually like kind of hard
Yes.
because it like the way the screen moves, it's funky. You have to like you have to roll into it to get it.
Yeah. So now we're on phase 2 of the fight. There are 5 phases. What we're gonna do here is actually these spiders keep spawning
Yep.
until the clock hits 55. And at that point, we've got to get him below 90 health, because that's when the next phase transition is.
Oh yeah, when he goes in the garbage.
So, and speaking of that, there's actually a secret half phase, sort of, a secret attack that he does that I actually didn't know about for a long time of running this. So we'll see if he does it or not.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Those red. Yep, I was about to say.
Yeah,
Those red sting bombs or whatever the hell they are. Those are nasty.
yeah. Those webs also slow your movement, so you don't want to get trapped in them. So, also running a little low on time.
Yep, yep.
Oops. So I'm gonna try and
kill.
there we go. Okay, should be good.
Nice jump.
So now we come to the final phase.
Health pickup, where he goes in the garbage can or whatever that is.
Ah, here we go. So now he's hopping around on the oven or on the stove.
Yes, I remember this. And he goes in there, yeah.
And yeah, you only have to shoot the stoves once to turn them on. So it's all about locking him down and making him jump on a certain one.
Okay, final stage.
Yeah, I don't know what my chain's looking like right now, but there's a lot of medals in this early part of the stage, so I'm going to try my best to get all of them without getting caught by something.
Also, chat may not know this from the gameplay footage, but the controls have now shifted to where now, instead of auto scrolling, he manually walks like this is Mega Man or something. So it's kind of funky when you first start doing it. Because you have to get used to moving and aiming again, but in like this kind of crazy control scheme. Nice, nice. The trees, they take cover behind the trees and pop out from there.
Yeah, so mostly it's just... Oh no. You see the metal actually spawned too high for me to get it.
Oh, damn.
It's my fault.
And that's not a shootable metal. Yeah.
No, no.
Or whatever. Shootable item.
So I'm gonna get some extra hits here.
For me, this stage, after this initial section here, is always a race against time for me, but you might have much better strats than I do.
I'd say probably not really. We're
Okay.
kind of strict on time. I think we're good, but we'll see.
Ooh, I love the backwards.
This section.
You were sliding slightly backwards, right, as you slashed?
Yes.
That's slick. Because you can slide into things when you're slashing and get damaged if you're not careful.
Yes, you can.
Nice
So this part
job.
here is not actually auto-scrolling.
Nope, he's
This
holding.
dinosaur guy, we're being chased, and so, whoa, that was close. If you slash the dinosaur in the shins, he will, it'll clink, and he'll run you over. So,
Oh, yeah.
only slash high.
Okay, he's
Doing good
escaped
so
the
far.
dinosaur. This part here, control-wise, is such a tricky one because you have to nail these jumps, and you can get surprisingly hung up in these little pits or whatever if you're not controlling yourself well.
Yeah, because we
Nice
haven't been doing any
slashes.
platforming this whole game, and now
Yeah.
suddenly.
Fantastic movement. Slashing the
So-
tails. Yep.
If we're gonna get hit anywhere, it's gonna be right here. Ah, yeah.
That motherfucker, yeah. Ah, I hate that guy.
Yeah, that is I ran that part a few times earlier to see if we could prevent that from happening, but still got plenty of medals to work with here.
Yeah, nice. Oh, yes.
And these things on the walls, by the way, are very finicky.
Yeah.
They will clink.
Great movement there.
So. Oh no. Okay, that was close. Here I'm gonna shoot a couple of these.
This.
And this is
yes.
really the last part where you want to cash out your medals, your chain, because
So many.
aside from the final boss, there's not a whole lot of medals left in the game. So it actually doesn't matter if I get hit too much from this
Great
point on.
speed kills. Because if you get, people don't know, if you leave these guys alive, they don't just go away. They just continue to harass you. So speed killing them is essential.
And every time you kill one of them, you get a mini boss bonus as well. So
Nice.
very
Using the
important.
tree as cover.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to read what these guys are doing.
Yep. I'm sure there's a better way to do this section with the dragons, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Target prioritization here. You got to know who to kill first. Will he get out he throw those centaur guys, if you don't kill them fast enough, they throw these scythes that like take up here comes one. Yeah.
Yeah,
They can be kind of nasty to deal with.
Really important that we don't let that happen, especially in the section coming up, because you can also they will block your sword, and
Yep.
that's really bad.
Okay, he's got to speed kill this guy. Here he goes. Oh, great slash. It's all about the jumping slashes.
Yes, if you drift in right at the last second, you can get a third slash on him.
Yeah, that was really gorgeous gameplay.
Thank you.
That jumping slice is way trickier than it looks.
So this is probably the most tricky part of the game in terms of survival.
Yep.
Try and not let these guys get away with.
So many dudes coming at you. Yeah.
Yeah, if you, like you said, if you prioritize your targets well, that part's not too difficult. But what is difficult is this part we're coming up to, the final boss.
Yes.
So basically, if you, and I guess I'll let Mark explain kind of a little bit of this, but
Yeah.
what I'm going to try and do is block these bullets from hitting the earth, and if I'm successful and we complete the fight with no damage to the earth, then I get a fat 10 million
Wow.
points,
Why you look that way?
which
So-
I need for my score to be competitively viable.
Oh
So-
my
but
god.
if the earth gets even
Oh
a
my
scratch,
God.
if the earth gets even a scratch, I'll get 4.9 is the best I can do. So, I have gotten this on stream a few times, but I don't know if I can get it now. We'll see.
So, the final boss fight is Evangelion mode. End of Eva. You got to protect the Earth, and this is like asteroids on crack. Because when Ben said you can't let anything hit the world, I'm like, oh god, because there is so much stuff, and it's like a sunken cost fallacy. Because if something slips by your initial shot, and you go down to try and catch it, then you're missing something that's spawning on the other side of the screen. And this isn't Counter-Strike, people. Your screen cursor has a speed limit, so you can't just zoom around the screen at full speed. So this is really a test of no, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I would have been shocked if you could have pulled it off live.
Yeah, me too.
So the way this works.
Actually,
Oh, go ahead.
it's not. There's no randomness at all. So you have that going for you.
Yes.
If you just practice.
Fully. But it's one of those things where there's not randomness, but it requires so much precision that you can't get 100% consistent all the time unless you're just amazing. Because, like I said, if you get off
behind
even
schedule
slightly,
for, then
then you're kind of like, oh,
and
well,
there are a whole bunch of tricks you can do as well to get more hits during this fight. That, because if we damage the earth with our shots, it won't. Sorry, the fake earth. So you want to basically not shoot the earth if you can, and you might be able to get a couple extra points. So, we didn't get the bonus,
but that was one of the cleanest earth defenses I've ever seen. That was.
Thank you.
That was sharp. I didn't even see the phases that I usually see because you killed it so fast.
Yeah. All right, so that's Sin and Punishment.
What an amazing game. Awesome run, too. That was really, really good.
Thank you. And the guy behind all this is Hideyuki Suganami, the Alien Soldier Gunstar Heroes programmer.
Yep.
Awesome, dude. So I believe this was the last game he directed, so...
Yeah, and I've heard rumors or read somewhere, and I can't confirm this or something, but wasn't it that you know, when they showed Sin and Punishment to Nintendo, Nintendo were like, this is way too hard, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Poor.
Yeah,
It's like
so
one of the most, I say absolutely the most overlooked N64 game by far.
oh,
Like,
for sure.
by far.
And what's crazy is it's one of the most accessible these days. Like it's on every Nintendo console now.
Yeah.
So anyone could go play this.
You should, people.
Uh, I know.
The Wii version is, I think, better than the Switch version, though. The Switch version
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
laggy
it
boy. Yeah.
It is. There's a reason I'm not playing on Switch.
Yeah, definitely. It's super laggy.
So, but yeah, pretty good run. We got the scoring goal of 80 million, just barely.
You did it, though.
So
That was really
with
good.
with the if I had gotten the Earth Defense bonus, that would have been on 85 million, which would have been my personal best. So
So
it's
close.
a shit.
God damn it.
But I know I knew I wasn't gonna be getting it on stream with live for you guys, but that's okay.
Very solid play, very solid score. And you made it look easy. That's the thing, is like you played so well. It's like one of those runs where you played so well it kind of looked easy, but it's not. Definitely not.
No, there's a lot of memorization and game knowledge
Routing.
you have to have.
Yeah.
And even just because it's an analog input game, like your thumb has to be
Yeah.
in agreement with what you're doing. Like
Yeah, you're not
So-
aiming with a mouse. This dude was aiming with an analog stick through all that, which is really impressive. Well, awesome. I really enjoyed that. The chat better have,
Yeah,
because I really
yeah.
had fun with that one.
yes,
Alrighty.
big
everyone.
thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you to the Shmup Slam team. This was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Alrighty. Well, we'll switch over to the next run. See you all in a little bit.
All right.